This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Hello and welcome to Superfans. This is the Chicago podcast where we bitch and moan about Chicago sports. Bit of whinging, bit of complaining, but we also pay our respects and our love. This is episode 23, as you guys see below in the title. This is our Michael Jordan of shows, our Robin Ventura of shows, our Jerry Azuma, if you will.
Definitely Jerry Azuma. Devin Hester, probably
Devin
more.
Hester, low-key, was okay at football.
Probably better than Jerry Azuma.
Maybe. But no, we've got a great show for you today. Today I'm joined by, always, and of course, Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys? And
Sean Anderson.
Hello there.
And Twitch itself, because we are live on Twitch, and I want to thank you to our Twitch crew every week showing up. We do record on Friday night or Saturday afternoon, so if you want to check us out live and hang out with us, toss in questions and join in the discussion.
Are we going to make that a thing,
Absolutely.
the MVP Twitch crew? Hashtag MVP Twitch crew?
I mean, that doesn't really roll off the tongue. But I'll tell you what, today we do have some great topics for you.
It's the Mark Tien episode.
The Mark Tien. All right.
Jermaine Dye.
I love Dye. I loved him.
Shout out Jermaine Dye.
Yeah, he was great. But today we got a great episode for you. The All-Star Game stars and reserves have been locked in right now, and we want to start things off by talking about the All-Star Game itself and why Zach LaVine gets no respect around here from Sean Anderson, amongst other people. Then we're going to switch over to NFL free agency, and a familiar face popped up as a potential signee for the Chicago Bears in Greg Olsen. Should they go after him? Will they sign him? And then I want to wrap this show up. What, Sean?
No, keep going.
Okay.
Finish it.
I want to wrap this show up with Chicago Cubs and trade rumors surrounding Chris Bryant. And if he's going, where should they trade him to?
What baseball team do you root for? What baseball team do you root for? What baseball team do I root for?
The Sox.
What baseball team does he root for?
The Cubs.
How does he not throw out Ryan Sandberg?
Ooh.
Because Michael Jordan above Ryan Sandberg.
Big oof.
Ryan Sandberg is a retired jersey for the Cubs.
Yeah,
I threw
Michael
out Mark
Jordan
Tien,
is the GOAT.
and I didn't realize Sandberg didn't click in my mind right away. As a Cubs fan, that should be at least in your mind when you're thinking 23. You should be thinking about all uniform numbers, and Sandberg should pop up.
In my mind,
should come up.
If you're picking one person to have this episode named after, it's Michael Jordan.
And
all
it stops
23.
there.
Yes, but then we started naming Jerry Azuma and Mark Tien, and then you should have thought, oh, hey, maybe Ryan should be.
I didn't want to
rub.
I didn't want to rub it in your face that my other team had a better 23 than
I
you.
think that's what the point of this is to rub it in the face of.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
super fans.
I kind of like that. I do like the idea of every week being an episode, in dedication to the number from Chicago.
It's a thing already. It's Lockdown White Sox, and other podcasts probably do it too. But Lockdown White Sox by my guy Herb Lawrence. He's on episode 15, and it's all about the White Sox. So this was episode Dick Allen. Next episode's gonna be episode Ted Lyons. The episode before was 14. It was episode Paulie Konerko.
I love it.
So shout out to Herb.
Eventually, you're going to run out of
and new co-host Chris Tannehill. So shout out to my guys.
Oh.
Herb and Chris.
Eventually, you're going to run out of possibilities because there's no triple numbers.
Well, we'll just start over at one again.
Yeah, or you could just do like 1 dash, Mark Tien.
Season 2. Season 2.
You could do the Jermaine Dye episode, and then in season 2, you could do like 1 Mark Tien.
We could eventually have the Otto Porter episode for 22.
Tien. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Ricky's mind is an enigma. You're absolutely correct, Soapy. All right. Let's get into this. And if you haven't checked out the Fast Break, I'm just going to plug it real quick because Fast Break is where all of our basketball shit lives, except for the Bulls, because we literally got booted off of there because they're just taking up too much time. And I want to keep the homerism to the homerism show.
It still takes up too much time.
It really does. But we just did a whole segment on who got snubbed from the All-Star Game, who got more snubbed, Bradley Beal or Devin Booker from the All-Star Game. And somehow, I don't even know how this happened, Zach LaVine's name came up. So if you guys want to check out a longer discussion about a couple other players, you can check out the Fast Break. But today, in this show, in this episode, Zach LaVine's snub from the All-Star Game. Is it egregious or completely unconstitutional?
Super egregious. With that, I want to before Ricky gets to his point, because Ricky probably has a lot of points.
He's got a mini
I
rant
think he's got a lot of stuff in the chamber.
Well, I even wanted to bring something up that doesn't deal with Zach LaVine at all.
Well, I was going to bring up the segment we last did about this because it wasn't well received by me, by the people who consumed
Sean's
it
a hater
because of me.
Sean sips
which
on
is
the
fair.
haterade.
What I will say in that point was we were trying to pick 4 guards. I don't think they picked 4 guards. And I think that's what ended up being the issue in the end. And I think if they had a choice of a fourth guard, you could argue Kyle Lowry, but I think Beal would have gotten in, and then LaVine would have been the second most snubbed. So I would say that he's on the list, but I would say that I think they went with 3 guards in the end. They went with a couple forwards, but I would say that it would probably snub list. The reason why Zach LaVine mainly got snubbed was because they went Lowry, and then they also only took 3 guards.
Yeah. What I wanted to say before we even got into it, because I don't even know if Dave mentioned it, and I want to give him some thanks. Thank you to our patrons.
Yeah.
Tim will be on there soon. He's a new patron.
They're pretty cool.
But we can't do what we do without the help of them. Wanted to give them some thanks. But here's my biggest issue with this, and it has nothing to do with. I know on the fast break we're talking mainly Bradley Beal and
Devin Booker.
But it kind of goes to I'm going to say a point that Zach made, but these were his comments last night about it. He said, you just saw the trend that they more went for players on winning teams. It sucks. Everybody feels like they're deserving, but there are only so many spots. I feel there are a lot of guys who could make their case if it's the way it goes. And then he starts off with, I'm not going to let it define me or who I think I am. I think I know who I am every time I step out on the court. I'm still looking forward to trying to help us make the playoffs. Here's my biggest gripe with the All-Star game, and I know, Dave, you're going to disagree with me in this, and this is where I think on top of them not taking 4 guards, this also plays into it because like a guy like Kyle Lowry, who I mentioned in the fast break, shouldn't be an all-star, and either Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine should be an all-star. I don't think winning records should matter significantly when you're picking an all-star. In that case, if you're not in the playoffs, you shouldn't even worry about making the team because you're not going to. I think that's bullshit. I think that you should look at the play of the players, even if you want Bradley Beal over Zach LaVine, you look at the play of the players, not what is their team doing, because it's more than one player. There's only one time in my life that I have seen, probably 2, but the one recent, that I've seen one player drag a bunch of scrubs to the playoffs, and that was LeBron James. He is the only one. No one else can do what he did with Cleveland, and that's my biggest gripe, is that they decided to go with guys on winning teams rather than look at it and say, okay, who are the best players this year for basketball, for the NBA.
I still think that if that argument was made, I don't know if Zach LaVine still makes the list, at least for best basketball players. And just going through it, at least with it, they only took 1 true guard out of the East. It was Kyle Lowry, and then they took 2 guard forwards in Ben Simmons and Jason Tatum. They counted Chris Middleton as a forward, which makes 0 sense to me because he's 2-3 or pretty much, at least on that Bucks team. You could count him as a guard forward. But then with the West, they took 4 guards, and Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, and Russell Westbrook. So it didn't seem even enough, which I don't think is totally fair positional-wise, which was, I think, probably a bigger gripe you could probably make in the long term, was that it probably should have been a little bit more balanced out positionally. The winning thing, I think, does matter because it's the impact on the NBA and it's the impact on teams. And Zach LaVine can put up as many points as he wants to. I mean, he could put up 28 or 26, however many he's averaging this year, but in the end, what are those points leading to? They're just leading to points. Like what is it? What are you going to look at and say, all right, Zach LaVine accomplished this?
So what could Zach LaVine? I'll ask you this: what could Zach LaVine himself do differently to make this team win?
I think that at least with that, I mean, that's such a weird question because like
he can't do anything
game
different
by game basis. But I think there is parts of at least some of these where you can look and he could possibly be a better leader on the floor. There's a lot of times throughout this season where this team has second and third quarter just absolutely not been there. There are stretches where Zach LaVine has not been a consistent scorer. He gets either red hot or ice cold, and Zach LaVine's name isn't mentioned. I don't think he's consistent enough to lead this team to wins on a game-to-game basis. You can just look at that Indiana game. That Indiana game, they were up, 15 points?
Yeah.
And Zach LaVine, where was Zach LaVine at the end of the game? I mean, just using that one as an example, this team has 1 win against 500 teams, and that 1 win was against the Clippers that didn't have Kawhi Leonard, Patrick Beverley, and I think Montrezl Harrell. And I could be wrong on that. I mean, this team does not have any significant wins on their resume. So
Agreed.
Zach LaVine can put up 44 against Cleveland. He can have a game-carrying win over the Charlotte Hornets. You beat the Hornets and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Like, what effect is this having on the mass largeness of the NBA? You look at the Raptors and Kyle Lowry. Well, at least Kyle Lowry's going to be in the playoffs. You could say, oh, you got all-star matchups between Kyle Lowry and Jason Tatum. You could talk about the intrigue and the importance of them on the NBA because they're reigning NBA champions. What is Zach LaVine? He's a former dunk champion.
And that's all this is. This is not about the All-Star game. To me, is not about them having the best players in this game. It's not, because I truly, even if we're talking the other two that we mentioned in the fast break, I believe Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. I would take both of them over the guys we mentioned in the fast break.
If it was the best players, Paul George and Kyrie Irving would be in there too.
Exactly. But I mean, for me, I hate that so much because look at the Bulls. Let's microcosm on the Bulls because this is super fans.
Sure.
To me, yes, there are things that Zach can do to improve his game.
Yep.
But there is, to me, no big improvement where it's like, man, we're losing these games because of Zach, man. If Zach wasn't good, we'd be winning more games. No, we're losing these games because our front office is shit.
Yep.
Our coaching is shit. It's like, what do you expect him to do? And what, we're going to hold that against him because our coach is incompetent. Our team, Lowry Marketing, can't get his head out of his ass, according to you most weeks. I like
disagree?
Lowry. No, he's been playing like shit this year.
Well, I mean, he's also been injured.
He's been injured. So. That puts an asterisk next to it.
Yep.
But it's like the team's been injured. It's like just because we're not winning, we're just going to put that all on Zach, and you're not going to be an all-star because your team doesn't win. But then Trae Young can be in the all-star game.
Yeah, but Trae Young's also averaging 30 points per game on better shooting and also he's
more assists.
He's more
one
assists.
of the best passers in our generation.
He is respected by the players as well. You look at the fan, player, and media vote. The players ranked him 3rd. They ranked Zach LaVine 7th. If you're looking at the guys that are like afraid to play somebody, they're afraid of Trae Young. Trae Young is a game-changing player no matter where he is on the floor.
No, but
you look at Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker is a respected player. He was number 1. You look at Bradley Beal. Everybody wants Beal on their team, and they know that he's rotten out in Washington.
Yep.
You look at Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is tough to stop, although he can't shoot a 3. If he shoots a 3, he might be one of the best players in the NBA.
Everything else.
Kyle Lowry is a respected veteran, right? And then you get to Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving isn't having a better season than Zach LaVine, but players respect him more. And then you get to Derrick Rose, who's having a worse statistical season than Zach LaVine, and then Zach LaVine comes in tied with Derrick Rose, at least for the player rank. It's not even just the fans or the media. It is also in the player's mind as well. And I think that speaks to what Zach LaVine is doing is Zach LaVine is a very talented scorer. But I think people know that his game is limited. And
so
I
it's
think
just a
also
popularity contest to me.
Yes, that's what the All-Star game is.
Yeah,
like,
it's a popularity contest, but also I don't think it's a travesty that he's not in the game. And I don't think players think that he is that dangerous as well. There's a reason he's 7, tied with 31-year-old Derrick Rose in player voting.
Is Zach LaVine Jerry Stackhouse 2.0?
I cannot speak on that. I was too young.
I'm going to say, I want to say
that's something
no
I've seen
off the top
out there.
of my head.
That's something I've seen out there as a comparison, and I don't entirely disagree with all of it. Stackhouse had a long career. He was a very good scorer, but at the end of the day, he was never, the guy on the best team in the league. I mean, he was right around there with the Pistons, but I think one of the things that I see a lot is just, look, you have a fantastic scoring guard who is gifted, so gifted at scoring, but at the same time, is he going to be there to take care of that?
I mean, and you could even say, and I know people are going to say different league, different all-star voting.
Yep.
But, even when I pull up Stackhouse stats, the 2 years that he was putting up, numbers that are even in the ballpark to where LaVine is right now.
Well, yeah,
All-Stars.
the first year he put up
All-Stars.
23 and he was an all-star, but the next
and
year,
then 29.
Zach's never been a 29.
No, I know, but even 27 to me, 27 points is not well, you didn't hit 30, you're not an all-star. That's what I think. To me, I feel whether it's the fan
even then,
vote.
Bradley Beal, 29 points per game, not an all-star.
And you could throw Beal into this too. I feel like the player
also,
voting,
Zach's at 25. Slow down here. He's under 27.
Well, he was at 27 a couple days ago.
No, he wasn't.
I thought he was. Because I remember looking it up and going, wow, he's at 27.
No, he was at 27 for one of the 3 wet boys you gave him.
Yeah.
You're just so consistently looking at 27 because you keep giving him a wet boy.
But still, I feel and this is why I love is he getting enough respect, or I don't think he is. whether it's from the fan, like the fan vote, I kind of want to say like, no, like it's hard because like, if you're not a LeBron, if you're not a like Luka and you're not global, it's like you're not going to win the fan vote.
Luka's
but
also
like
a better player.
even in the
Okay,
player vote,
I'm
like
gonna
he's not
cry,
getting the
I'm gonna
respect
cry
that he needs.
pity for Zach LaVine, who can't get the fan vote in the third largest market in the NBA. Like media market, one of the hallmark franchises.
We split our votes
of
between
the
Derrick
NBA.
Rose and him.
Yeah, literally.
That's her.
I'm not crying pity for Zach LaVine not getting the fan vote because that's on Bulls fans.
Boston got Taco Fall
yeah,
to one of the top
there's enough
voted players.
Bulls fans to get him high enough. Taco Fall was higher than I believe. No, he was 6. He was 6. He was above Bam Adebayo and the Pacers, Domantas Sabonis, and Andre Drummond and Chris Middleton. Taco Fall was voted 6.
Boston voted en masse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not crying pity because Zach LaVine didn't finish higher in the fan voting.
I feel like LaVine deserves a little bit more respect for what he's doing. And
is he a top 10 player in the league? No.
No.
Is he top 15? No. Is he a top 20?
No.
Is he top 25? Then you start to hit that range.
But the
like top 30, maybe.
But
No,
also
I think
that too.
that's
The
the
All-Star
range.
game. The All-Star game isn't just like who's the top 25 player. It's who's doing the best this year. Sometimes someone
It's a
outside
seasonal
that
award.
top 25
it's
may
a
be
half
balling
a season
out.
of excellence, and that's what it needs to be. And I think that LaVine had an excellent half season, but did it tell a better story? Did he have a better statistical time, and did it lead to wins? I think results matter as much as you want to say.
I don't.
No. I look up
does-
historically.
Right now,
It's not completely
win
written
shares
off,
for
but,
this
like-
year.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine is 48th. He's below Joe Ingles, Dwight Howard, Jaylen Brown,
What's Trae
Bjelica,
Young's?
Al Horford. Trae Young is like
He's
top
probably
10.
higher because
They literally can't win a game without him.
Yeah,
they're such an awful
He's
basketball
31.
team.
Sorry,
I
31.
I have a problem with it in this case because everything we talk about week in and week out with the Bulls, it's not like Zach can do anything different. That's why it's like I hate the whole don't disregard it completely. Don't disregard it completely. But what I would say to that is, can he score better because we don't have an offensive system?
Bradley Beal can score better.
If we
and
just
he doesn't
go,
have an offensive
if
system.
we just go, let's give the ball to Zach, then they just
James Harden
zone
scores
in on,
better.
James Harden also has a offensive system that fits him. Zach LaVine doesn't, and that's what I feel like we're penalizing Zach because the Bulls are too stupid to not fire Jim Boylan. Whereas,
well, if you're
Harden
asking what he can do
and
better,
Westbrook
the answer's everything.
are in the All-Star game, and they have a better coach with a better system fit for that team.
But I don't think Westbrook should be an All-Star, so I don't think he should be thrown in here. Westbrook doesn't fit that system.
But he is an All-Star. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, but
he
that
was
was
voted an All-Star.
Yeah, but that's on the assistant coaches, right? But and that's different because that doesn't even affect Zach LaVine. But Devin Booker should be an All-Star, and Devin Booker's now in a system that fits him, and he's more efficient than he's ever been in his career. He's had a career year. He should deserve to be in the All-Star game. Zach LaVine, I don't think fits that mold. Zach LaVine is having a career year because he has to have a career because no one else can score on the team. So just because he has a ton of volume doesn't mean that he's this impressive player. Right now he's 23rd in win shares when if you just look at guards at anyone that falls under. He's below Joe Ingles, Jaylen Brown, Will Barton, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Eric Bledsoe, Fred VanVleet, George Hill, Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell, Kyle Lowry, Devin Booker. Like if we went this to the East, he'd still not even be top 15, I think. Like I don't think that Zach LaVine is a very great dynamic scorer. I think that he's a very good shooter. I think he can get very hot game in and game out. I think he's very good on the fast break, but he's not good at picking apart pick and rolls. He's not good at diving in and attacking the basket. And you can make the argument that he doesn't have players that are good at setting picks and freeing him up enough because Cristiano Felicio was just named the team's best screen roller. So yes, that could be an argument that could be made. But right now, even if those are all against him, that Jim Boylan's a bad coach, that doesn't make me want to vote him as an all-star because all of those things are negatives that are hurting his case, but they are still something that you have to watch and still have to look in and take after. So yes, if you put him on the Rockets, you put him on a team that has a better coach, he would probably be an all-star. But that doesn't mean he's an all-star right now in the scenario he's in.
In the last couple of years, players who are on terrible teams, or not just not playoff teams, who've gotten in, Kemba Walker last year, Kristaps Porzingis 2 years before that, there's not a lot of names to read off of this list. Like
I don't understand
consistently,
and I don't understand
teams.
what Sean just said. And the reason why I don't understand it is you said,
What do you mean?
You're like, oh, if he has a different coach, he's an all-star. So then what you're really saying is, right now, with the numbers, he's an all-star. The only thing that makes him like a all-star.
If Devin Booker was in the East, he'd be an all-star.
Like, I think Devin Booker should be an all-star now, but that's besides the point.
No, the point I was trying to make was the fact that like you could say that like if he's in a different system, like if
he's on the Miami Heat, yes,
with a
he's
better
probably
coach,
an all-star.
Then maybe. Well, no, I think it's different. I made my point poorly. You're complaining that he's not in the right system and that he's with the wrong coach, right?
If you're going in saying wins and losses matter.
I'm not trying to argue. I'm just
No.
So answer me.
I'm just saying
you're making the argument that it's unfair because Zach LaVine is getting hate because he's got a bad coach and he's got a bad team and he's got a bad system, right?
Yeah.
My point was trying to be like those can all be true, but we're voting on what they are doing in 2019, 2020.
Not what they
So
could
I'm not
be.
going to give him pity votes because he has a bad coach. He has a bad system. He has bad teammates. If he was on a different team doing the same thing, then it possibly could be different he could be putting up better numbers because, he could have better screeners. He could be in a better system. But right now, with the 2019-2020 Bulls, that's the team that he's on, and that's the team he has to deal with.
Exactly.
And right now, that team is not good enough to give him enough spotlight. And even if I think they had the spotlight, I don't know if he'd be a for sure all-star.
Exactly. Well, and that's the case I'm trying to make with the wins and losses argument.
Yeah.
Of he is on the Bulls. He can't change that. So why are we penalizing him?
Yeah, but why
for
should we
being on a
also
bad
give him
team?
positives is my point. Why should we then give
For
him
beating
pity
one
votes
team
of
with
being
over
on the
500
Bulls?
record?
Everybody can only control their destination. Trae Young can only be on the Hawks. He had no choice. He would straight to the Hawks, and he still was an all-star.
I'm not
You're
trying
getting
to say
upset, but I'm
LaVine
also
should
saying
get
why
pity votes. I'm just saying.
But you're saying we shouldn't negate him. I'm like, but so we judged him as who he is. He's on a bad team that's scoring 25 points per game. He's not like Bradley Beal, who's putting up 29 on a bad team and is still not getting these pity votes because he's on a shitty Washington team. Like, I don't think anyone's penalizing him. I don't think anyone's also should be giving him pity votes. Like, I think Zach LaVine got judged for who he is, and I think you are looking for pity votes for Zach LaVine to be an all-star.
No, this is what, and so if it was me and you said, okay, Kyle Lowry, for some weird reason, we fucked up, he's not an all-star.
Yep.
Who takes his spot?
Beal.
I'd probably put Beal in, because it would go Beal and then LaVine.
Yep.
But the argument I'm trying to make, and you can throw Beal into this too, because he is just like Zach LaVine on a team that is not good, but Bradley Beal's still good. To me, I feel like you're saying like throw pity votes at Zach LaVine. I'm going the other side. Why should we crown a dude in Kyle Lowry with an all-star just because he plays for the Toronto Raptors when number-wise and play-wise, Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine are better than Kyle Lowry in my mind?
No, they're scoring more points. And again, we went through this on the fast break that at least advanced metric-wise, Kyle Lowry has more of an efficient play and impactful play on his team than those other players do.
See, and that's another thing is and we mentioned it a little bit on the fast break of should we penalize guys that have high usage? So like Bradley Beal and Zach, who their usage is high, we're gonna penalize them.
I'm not penalizing. I'm just saying.
No one should be penalized.
I'm saying in general because what you said is what his usage he's doing, but because the Raptors don't need to rely on Kyle Lowry.
They do.
The Bulls and the Wizards do. No, I'm saying like for usage, because Pascal Siakam's gonna have the most usage on that team. Kyle Lowry is not, but Beal and LaVine are gonna have the most usage on their team. So with them not being as efficient with their usage,
but I think it's
deceiving.
Different. I'm saying that Zach LaVine's usage is a negative because, or not a negative, but I think people, mainly you, at least because you're the main Bulls fan that I talk to.
Because I'm on the show.
Well, you're the person I talk to most that is a Bulls fan is you. So most of my Bulls takes come from you. I think that, again, people look at the numbers and be like 25 points per game, and he's shooting, X and X and X.
Yeah.
And I just think that you have to look at his usage and say, if this team was better, would his usage be this high? No, he wouldn't be scoring 25 points per game. The reason why he has this many points is because somebody has to score. And I think right now, if you look at Zach LaVine, I don't think that he would be doing this in a normalized situation. Kyle Lowry would be doing this in a normalized situation. Would Bradley Beal be putting up 29 points per game? No, but he'd also be in a normalized situation, a more normalized situation, a better defender, a more efficient player, and likely a better passer as well. I think he's shown that he's been a great passer before. And I think if you look at track record, what these guys would do in normalized situations, Bradley Beal in a normalized situation is more impactful than Zach LaVine, and Kyle Lowry is a very much more impactful player, a 10 win shares player on a normalized situation. And he's been that before with DeMar DeRozan. He's been that before with Kawhi Leonard. He's doing that right now. So I think at least on normalized looking at, stats, everything, win shares, what these guys do on the floor, I think Kyle Lowry is more impactful, even though he does not averaging 20 points per game or 10 assists.
When Pascal was out
does
there,
everything.
Yeah, when Pascal was out with an injury, Lowry put up 22 points a game, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, just 2.9 turnovers on shooting splits of 42, 36, 83. That's pretty good. That they were able to lean on him while Pascal was out. They were winning games while Pascal, and that's the difference. Like, you talk about a team that they were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they were 7 and 6 without Pascal Siakam, their best player, another All-Star.
Yeah.
But he was able to put up numbers similar because his team needed him.
Yeah,
they leaned on him. And since Pascal came back, guess what? Win-win, win-win-win, win-win, win-win-win-win.
Yeah, Pascal's really fucking good at basketball.
No, but it's the on top of that. The fact that they went above 500 without their best player, and then he comes back and they do nothing but win. Kyle Lowry's been a leader in the clubhouse. He's been a leader on the team, and he's been the guy that they can count on when they need to win games.
Also, you're just real quick, because you brought up the efficiency stats of shooting. And yes, at least field goal percentage, Lowry is ranked the worst at 41%. He's ranked second, at least in three-point percentage, behind Beal and behind LaVine. And then you look at free throw percentage, he's first, 85.6 compared to Beal's 85, and then LaVine's 83. If we look at the true shooting, though, to where it all comes out, they're pretty much same efficiency. 57.9% for Kyle Lowry, 57.6% for Bradley Beal, 56.5% for Zach LaVine. I don't think you could say either guy is more efficient than the other when it comes to shooting the basketball. It's just really then about usage and how those guys are used. And Bradley Beal, obviously 32.9 usage on 57% true shooting, LaVine 31 on 56% true shooting, and Lowry 22.9% usage on 57.9 true shooting. Like, it doesn't matter about his efficiency. It doesn't matter about his points to me. It matters about what his role is and how efficient he is on that role. And if you took him off the Raptors, this team would probably be around a 6 seed.
See, and this is where I feel like overall with the All-Star voting and selection process in general, it's very flawed in my mind. Because like I've mentioned wins and losses, I wouldn't put a big emphasis on that. Another word that both of you guys said that for an all-star game, I wouldn't put an emphasis on is leader. To me, it doesn't matter if you're a leader. It's who's having the best season. For an all-star game, who is the best players right now? Because someone...
But what does best mean? Just putting up points?
And that's the other hard part about an all-star game is it's not easy to do this. The reason why we're having this conversation is because it's not simple black and white. There's a lot of gray area.
And that's why I'm not using leadership. I'm using impact. Lowry has an impact on the Raptors. I don't think LaVine has an impact on the Bulls as much as Lowry does, because if you take LaVine off of this team, they're still 1-17 against 500 teams. They're still bad against good teams, right? They're probably going to go to 10 wins or something like that, but I don't think they're drastically that much different. You could probably flip the Cavs win and the Hornets win, because those are two that stick out to me that were Zach LaVine carried.
Single-handedly.
Who has more of an impact on the Raptors' win-loss right now? Kyle Lowry, Nick Nurse, or ownership for putting all these players on this team and making sure that Ujiri, making sure that they have the pieces.
Besides Ujiri.
Whatever. I'm not going to say it right, even if you say it a million times, so we'll just move on. Putting the pieces in place for Nick Nurse to use, I would lean with Ujiri and Nurse before I look at Kyle Lowry.
I would put, just because of what Masai did last year, finding Siakam, I would put him first. That's the reason why the Knicks were willing to pay him $10 million. And then I put Lowry. Lowry kept that that transition should not have been as smooth as it was from Dwayne Casey to Nick Nurse and getting rid of DeMar DeRozan and bringing Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry stabilized that locker room.
Or did Kawhi? Or did Kawhi?
I just said Kawhi Leonard did.
Because having Kawhi last year,
I didn't do it because I
like you had Kawhi Leonard, and that's where the Bulls. I feel like you're putting Zach between a rock and a hard place, or even behind the 8 ball. I think that's even the better way to look at it because he doesn't have Ujiri, he doesn't have Nick Nurse. He's got fucking Jim Boylan, and he's got Garpax.
Okay, but then again,
and you're expecting him to make lemons out of fucking rocks in the backyard.
Who brought Zach LaVine here? Garpax.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler.
They
Garpax
bought him
scouted
here,
him.
But
who gives him as many shots a game as he does? Jim Boylan does. What was he before he came over here? He was a third option behind Wiggins and Cat.
And look at the team they've put. Like, we bitch about this team, and this is me bringing it now to the Chicago focus.
I'm not here to say that Jim Boylan and Garpax are doing a great job. I'm just here to say that Zach LaVine is putting up just fairly hollow stats.
Even take Zach LaVine's name out of it and replace it with Bradley Beal.
Okay.
I think my argument's the exact same for both of them. The exact same. So take LaVine's name out, put Beal in. I'm having the exact same argument against Kyle Lowry.
I disagree because I don't think that Bradley Beal has the same argument because his star rookie or Rui Hachimura has been injured for a very long time. He doesn't have that as well. John Wall has not played, and that's a big piece that's taking up $38 million in cap space right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, Wendell Carter Jr., Lauri Markkanen Jr., Otto Porter are all injured, right?
Then why are we?
But he wasn't an all-star last year when those guys were playing, anyways.
Then why are we? And what you just said, oh, he's injured and this is injured. Then why aren't we putting that against Bradley Beal, but we were against Zach LaVine?
I think Bradley Beal was an all-star last year.
No, I mean like this year.
He's been an all-star like 3 straight years.
Okay,
this year, I feel like the case I'm making for Lowry versus LaVine, I'd be making the same argument for
Go
Beal.
back to the injury stuff. What are you talking about?
We're like, you're saying, well, yeah, but this guy's injured and John Wall's injured, and it's like,
no, but I was
LaVine's dealing with injuries
I know,
too.
But I was talking about. Again, with Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal was an all-star last year. Without a doubt, no question. He was the all-star the year before.
Should be an all-star right now.
He was an all-star the year before as well, right? He and the thing with the coaches and the GMs that you're talking about, the argument against Lowry.
Similar scenario.
Yeah. I think that if you gave all the injured players back to the Bulls and all the injured players back to the Wizards, Bradley Beal would still be making more of a case to be an all-star than Kyle Lowry and Zach LaVine because he has the track record that shows that. Because he wouldn't have as much of a load that he would be. He'd be more efficient. He'd be playing better defense. He'd be more of a two-way player, and that's what players recognize when they're voting, is that they know what Bradley Beal is at his top end. Yeah. He is not at his top end because I don't really want to bash the coaching. I don't really want to bash the GM ownership too much because they fired their GM already, Ernie Grunfeld. Okay. So I think that right now, if you're making the argument, I don't think Zach LaVine would be scoring 25 points per game on what he is currently doing because of Markkanen, Porter, and Carter being out.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying...
Okay, but I'm saying, like, you brought up the injury part.
Yeah.
I'm saying get rid of the injury part.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal would be more of an all-star than Zach LaVine.
Yes. I'm not saying that... I'm not trying to argue that LaVine is going to overpass Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, so this argument has been Kyle Lowry versus Zach LaVine.
Yes.
I feel like if it was Kyle Lowry versus Bradley Beal, all of the points I made would have been exactly the same. I wouldn't have made anything different because Bradley Beal is in a similar situation right now that LaVine is in, where his team's not good. His coach isn't better than Nick Nurse. The ownership the ownership with the Wizards isn't as respected as the ownership with the Raptors. Where if I took LaVine out of the argument and replaced that with the Bradley Beal piece, I'd be making the same argument that I'm making for LaVine. So like it doesn't really matter which one you put in. It's the same argument.
Still confused.
So we were arguing LaVine, Kyle Lowry, right?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to explain this because I'm still confused after 4 times.
Remember all the points I said backing LaVine.
Okay, so what I would say...
Wait.
No, this is what I said. So where am I missing? LaVine with the
They're
Lowry
both the
thing.
same.
With the Lowry
That's
thing,
what I'm saying.
Masai Ujiri was
Yes.
more important than Lowry than Nick Nurse.
Yeah,
right?
not-
And you're saying that at least importance to the team.
No,
Okay, I
we're
don't
just
know
saying
where
from a stat point
Yes.
and from a situation on their team point.
Okay.
They're counting on guys who are hurt, so they have to carry the offensive load.
Yeah.
Both of them are very good at that.
Yeah.
But both of them are on very shitty teams in very shitty situations. The point is that whether it's whether it's Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine, they both have a similar case to be in over someone who had a
Like Kyle
less
Lowry.
statistical numbers. He can't score as many points as good. He can't score as many points as good from a flat number standpoint. True shooting wise, they're all very similar.
Thank you, Dave.
I understand that. But that is the argument that both of those guys deserve a chance to be in. And I say, if that's your argument case, why not go after Ben Simmons? Why not say Ben Simmons can't fucking score the basket?
He's
he
number
should be
2 on my
basket.
He is number 2 on my chopping block because I had this thought today in the shower.
Why is Chris Mid getting so much
So-
love?
Because he's 50, 40, 90
So-
on
Whatever.
20 points a
He's
game.
playing with the best player in the NBA.
So here's my gripe.
Something, Malcolm Brogdon.
Here's my gripe with Ben Simmons, and this is just a general discussion. This isn't LaVine should be over
No, let's
him or
attack
anything
him.
like that.
'Cause Jake's here still, maybe.
I am attacking
Good.
him. To where, when are we going to get to the point where if you were to say Ben Simmons, is he
Yes.
a guard or a forward?
He's guard.
He's a guard.
Yep.
What do guards have to do to be successful in this league?
Pass the
Pass.
ball.
Pass the ball, but also shoot the ball. When
play
are we?
great defense.
When are we eventually going to say you're not a center? You don't shoot threes and you don't shoot them well. That's a penalty. We are holding that against you, like we hold winning
We are
against
holding that
different
against
teams.
him.
We hold it against him every single season.
That's literally
the thing that
one
we're
of the
doing
biggest
every
flaws
But
single game.
obviously they didn't because he's still an all-star.
Okay,
Because
that doesn't
he
matter
leads the
'cause
league
he's
in
still a great
steals.
player.
He
He's
is
literally one of the best
the best
defensive players in the league.
I
defensive
feel
player.
like that should be a negative to go against his all-star.
It was.
Yeah.
That's why he wasn't a starter. If he was shooting threes, he
He'd
would
be
literally
insane.
be a starter and
He'd be
probably
LeBron
a top 10
James.
player. Yeah. Like
If he
Ben
could
Simmons is
hit threes,
stupid
he'd
good.
be LeBron James.
Yeah, but
Like, that's
I don't think he should be. I'm
Well,
saying
mentality,
he shouldn't
he's
be
also
on
missing.
the roster because of it. If he's a guard,
he's on the roster
No, no, no.
because there are the 76ers. They're in the playoffs,
seeing that.
and he is
I'm not
the
gonna-
best two-way guard in the East.
But he's not a guard. That's what Ricky's point.
No, I'm saying
What is it?
the whole win and loss thing. I've chopped that tree down enough that I'm not gonna go after it
When
again.
we bring up win and losses, we said that he was
No,
one of the
he
best.
said he's on the Sixers where it's like, and was talking about team success, which I'm not putting into an all-star vote for me personally. So that's why.
Okay, impact. Joel Embiid has massive impact on the Philadelphia 76ers.
Mm-hmm.
He's been out very recently. That team has not taken a step back because Ben Simmons has upped his game and has had a massive impact on that team. And he's had a massive impact on the way that team plays defense, and that team is one of the better defensive teams in the league. That team he's also impacting them offensively because he can't shoot, right? But he's also, if he wasn't there, they wouldn't have a guard. So he is a massively impactful team, a massively impactful player this year. Zach LaVine is a blip on the radar.
I'm not making the argument for LaVine to be over Ben Simmons. I'm just
Bradley
saying
Beal
Ben
is a
Simmons
blip on the radar
on his own.
according to Ben Simmons' impact. If we're looking back at the 2019-2020 season and impactful players, Ben Simmons' name is coming up before Bradley Beal and before Zach LaVine.
Like, you know who's the argument for me when it comes to Ben Simmons? Jimmy Butler should have never been a reserve. He should have been on the bench. Ben Simmons should have been a reserve then. Like, switch Ben Simmons and Jimmy Butler.
Butler is on the bench.
They're both
No,
on
no, no. I'm saying, like, Butler was one of, like, the final 2 reserves voted in. Him and Bam were, like, the final 2 spots.
Oh.
That's where Ben Simmons should be. And Jimmy, based on this year, Jimmy's been balling out. He shouldn't have even been in that
He's
situation.
having like one of the worst statistical
shooting
years of
years,
his
but
career.
it's the impact on the team's
Yes.
wins. That's why
what you're saying. And that's
he is the
what
reason
I'm
why the
hearing.
Heat are as good as they are because he's able to get everybody on the team doing the right thing,
Yeah, but
playing at the right energy
that's
levels.
If that's your case, though, like an all-star's an all-star. So I don't care if Jimmy Butler, if Jimmy Butler was voted last or first, he should be an
Agreed.
all-star. He's an all-star.
Also, Ben Simmons, since Joel Embiid went down, has started to carry more of the offensive load. I want to give him the credit for the last couple weeks where he has
He
played
just
up.
hasn't shot, which he never does.
Exactly.
But he's also been a great free throw shooter.
Yep.
So
And
it
also-
shows you, hey,
yeah.
Ben, you're a good shooter. Shoot the 3.
That's a mental block he's got to get over. And I think someday he will. I just think that, again, when you look at his positives versus negatives versus Zach LaVine, I think think he has more positives than negatives. That's all. Zach LaVine's a great outside shooter, great finisher at the rim, but
Very athletic.
Ben Simmons is better on defense than Zach LaVine. Ben Simmons is a better court general than Zach LaVine. Ben Simmons is a better rebounder than Zach LaVine. Ben Simmons... I'm trying to think of another page of the game. Sorry.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to make the Zach LaVine.
No, I was
over
just
Ben
saying, like,
Simmons.
those are the guys who are there, and that's who you have to look at the other All-Stars. We've been targeting Kyle Lowry because he's a guard, but any one of these positions could have gone to him. Jimmy Butler, I think it's the team impact. He's the guy who the team feeds off of. It's the same way that Kyle Lowry does.
I also want to ask this.
Yeah.
Are we even having this discussion if Embiid is healthy? Because Embiid would be an all-star, right?
Embiid
naturally?
got voted in as an all-star starter.
Oh, that's right. I thought he was still hurt. Never
Nope,
mind.
that's
My bad.
2 players. Again, we're taking 2 players from good teams.
I keep forgetting who the actual starters are.
The
Because
starters are Giannis, LeBron,
because
Anthony
we
Davis,
focus
James
so
Harden,
much on
Luka
the
Doncic,
bench.
Trae Young, Kemba Walker, Pascal Siakam, Kawhi Leonard, and Joel Embiid.
Yeah, we focus so much on the bench.
Yeah.
The people who weren't voted in that.
Shit,
I keep
Jalen Brown's
forgetting.
got a case, too.
Yeah, someone on
I made
Twitter
the
said that
case
he's
before
got a
and before.
better case than Zach LaVine.
It was me on this podcast.
The
2
thing
weeks
is,
ago.
they've got Kemba
No, but
Walker
someone on
and
Twitter
Jason
also-
Tatum.
I know, but like Jalen
Yeah.
Brown is like one of 7
Yeah.
players that has over 63% shooting. I think like 120 offensive rating and 105 defensive rating. Like, he's
yeah.
stupid good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Celtics could have had 3 All-Stars.
Sorry, stupid impactful.
Yes. The Celtics could have had 3 All-Stars because they're a very good team and they are very good at the top of the roster.
My life is ending. I think Basketball Reference is down.
Oh, it is. It's hard down across. I tried my phone even, and I couldn't load a page. Yeah. We're useless. We might as well just move on to the next topic.
I'm panicking.
I got one.
I'm panicking.
I got one all-star question,
Yeah.
and this is about the format for
Sure.
rosters and stuff.
Yeah.
Because we no longer do East versus West.
Right. It's just a pool.
Should they just do like this is how many spots there are, and it's just league wide? We don't have to take this many from the West, this many from the East. Just take it.
I'm surprised we haven't just hit the consolation prize that is our generation, and everyone gets a participation trophy from their team to represent them during the All-Star game.
The MLB does that, but they got more roster spots.
And I think the NBA should have more roster spots too.
It's like I think the MLB
You got
has
48
it to where
minutes of game.
every team
this year's a question mark
gets
on that.
one all-star. At
Yeah.
least one all-star.
I think that's where we end up in the NBA in the next couple of years. Is you'll see 30 representatives from the league at every All-Star game, and it's not even that big of a thing. Like you can have a 16-on-16 bench, or even 18. I don't care. 16, 17, 18, all those numbers are fine.
and I know
everybody gets a couple minutes, and it makes every team feel good, and it gives every market a reason to watch. I
Bingo.
don't understand how this is a losing situation.
I know you made the joke of like the participation
It
trophy,
is.
but like I look at it more of like
Does it devalue the All-Star game? Yes.
For
but I
example,
don't
of,
even value
like-
the All-Star game for a credit for the player.
doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Yeah.
We use it for whatever dumb reason, but like I think
like the game itself does not matter who wins or loses. So why
I think
should
the
it
nod
matter?
for the All-Star vote doesn't matter there.
but
Zaza
like-
Pachulia would have been an All-Star.
For example, Chicagoans that are not
An entire
like
nation voted him in.
Chicagoans who are not hardcore basketball fans. Like
Yeah.
there's going to be a couple of them that go, well, there's no Bulls in it. I ain't going to watch it. And then like you'll get that for
Can I make one
fan
point?
bases. Go ahead.
Zach LaVine shouldn't be in the dunk contest. He made the statement earlier this year. If he wants to be,
I hope
if
he
they want
does
him
it.
at the All-Star game, he should be an All-Star.
I hope he
And then
doesn't
he
do
would
it.
consider doing the dunk
I don't think
contest
he's
on
doing
top
it.
of it.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing
I
it.
I
hope
think
he
he
doesn't.
shouldn't do the dunk contest out of spite.
How do they not just have these guys ready though? Shouldn't this already be locked down at this point?
You'd think so.
I don't know.
For a league as big and as
2 weeks
well
ago?
run as they have been normally, it's all in the air.
Can't wait to see Derek Jones Jr. throwing it down.
He throws down hard.
The guy's only 22. You didn't like when I kept saying that during the Heat segment when we were talking about the fast break. I kept saying Derek Jones is 22. I didn't get any reaction.
No, I
I
know
thought
he's
he was
young.
like 27.
No, he started on the fucking Suns a couple years ago. They gave up on him.
It just
Wrongfully
seems like
so.
we've been talking about him so much.
He started when he was 19. That's why.
Yeah. He's just always gotten so much hype.
Because he's athletic as all get out, and he throws down dunks with fucking force. He tomahawks insanely well.
No, I know what he,
I think he's
know
an
who he
in-game
is.
dunker, though.
I know who he is.
Yeah.
It's just like I thought he was older.
Oh, because we talked about him so
Yeah.
much? Yeah, that's fair.
like it
That's
seems
fair.
like we've been talking about Derek Jones Jr. for since 2012.
Yeah, I gotcha. Devontae Graham in an All-Star game?
No.
Yeah, I mean, that's
That's
where you end up.
He's worse Zach LaVine.
No, but that's if we give every team an All-Star. You have to.
Oh, yeah, that'd be bad.
I have no problem with it. Mm-hmm. I want a representative from every team. That's my change for the All-Star game would be give every team an All-Star, up the rosters to like 17 or 18. That way you can have those double up on the top teams. Like
So then AD wouldn't make it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like 18 spots. So that way
18.
you have 3 extra spots. So those top teams get that second player who is great because dumb super teams are dumb super
Let's
teams.
just keep it to 15 real quick. Giannis, Pascal, Kemba, or Jason Tatum?
I'd take
Say it again.
Kemba or Jason Tatum is the Celtics representative.
Kemba.
Okay.
Sure.
Kemba, Jimmy Butler,
Yep.
Jimmy.
Sabonis, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
Embiid. Dinwiddie's been better than Kyrie.
Dinwiddie's been the only one healthy the whole season.
Dinwiddie.
Well, most of the season, I'd say.
Shit. Magic. Can we just do
Isaac.
Fultz for the joke of it?
Isaac's broken.
If he was healthy,
If he was healthy, it'd be Isaac. If not, Fournier.
Levine, Beal,
Yep.
Drummond.
Or Rose.
Derrick Rose.
One or the other.
No, Drummond.
Drummond's had a great season.
Devontae
too.
Luke
Graham.
Kennard's been
Yep.
good too.
Yeah, he's not
Who the
that
fuck is the Knicks?
Mitrov.
Marcus Morris?
good. Marooks?
Oh,
I think it's
Bobby P.
Marooks.
That's
No,
Marooks.
Marcus Morris is better.
It's Marooks.
Bobby P.
It's
Marooks.
100% Marooks.
K-Love, Trae Young,
Yeah.
LeBron,
Yep.
Jokic,
Yep.
Kawhi,
Yep.
Rudy,
Yeah,
Gobert.
I would agree.
Harden,
Yep.
Luka,
Yep.
CP3,
Yep.
Ja
Morant.
Ja.
Ja Morant
Ja
deserves to be there
Or
Or
this year.
Triple J.
Ja deserves to be there this year.
Okay, Ja,
Oh, Triple J.
No.
Dame, LaMarcus.
Or DeMar.
DeMar's had a really good season. I'm in a
I've
toss.
been more impressed with LaMarcus.
I will take either one of them.
All right, LaMarcus, Devin Booker,
Yep.
Ingram,
Yep.
BI.
Fox, Hield.
Fox has been worse than Heel. Ooh, that's tough.
I'd take Buddy.
Kings suck.
I might go Buddy.
All of them suck.
I like Fox as of late.
Bielitsa?
Get out of here.
Bogdanovich.
Most consistent player on their team, Harrison Barnes.
Cat,
Yeah.
Yep.
D'Lo?
Yeah.
Unless you want to throw Alec Burks in there.
Eric Peshkal.
Eric Peshkal. So, yeah.
That's not bad.
That's all right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and you toss in a couple extra spots for the ADs, for the
And that's
whoever else is good enough. I'm fine with that. I've just solved the All-Star game. 30 minutes of bitching about Zach LaVine being, not quite good enough. He's a B+ player.
Oh.
And I've solved the All-Star game in about 8 minutes.
So then he's a really,
You're welcome.
So then he's a really good player because Daniel Bryant's awesome.
Yeah, he's a B+ player. He's B+. He's not good enough to be the guy. He's not good enough to be the marketable name.
That means the Bulls are going to win a championship because DB has won.
He had to do a whole lot of things after that to get there. And it's an individual sport versus a team sport, so...
It's a joke.
Yeah, it doesn't quite equate.
It's
All
a
right.
joke.